All right, I've got three finance stories you need to know about before you go into work tomorrow. One of them has to do with cryptos. I know some of you don't like cryptos, but got to talk about this. It's big news. Ford is actually halting production of several vehicles, which is interesting since today, May 19th, they are actually launching their electric truck. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And of course, we've got some other news, and that is that mortgage applications are dropping. What's going on there? Honestly, I couldn't tell you, but it's not looking so good. Now let's get started. Let's go right into it. We're going to start off with Coinbase and Binance and why we're seeing some interesting issues with them. Well, Coinbase and Binance, if you tried to get on and sell some stuff, well, unfortunately, you couldn't. Why is that? Well, so many people were trying to get on there and sell because of recent news from China. So let's start with that article first. Right here, Bitcoin plunges below 40,000. In fact, I saw it at 37 or $32,000 at one point today. But China is cracking down on cryptocurrencies, and those cryptocurrencies are really driven in part by China with over a billion people, something like that. They're over a billion. They've got a lot of people invested in cryptocurrencies. And when you have an entire country, especially one of China's size and influence around the world, say, you're not going to get to play in the sandbox, well, now you have issues. So what we're seeing here is Bitcoin's going down. Right here, here it is. Ethereum plummeted to $2,000 after trading. Ether down 22%. Dogecoin lost 24% in one day. This is why I tell you guys every time I talk about cryptocurrencies, it's a high risk investment. Only invest what you're willing to lose. And even then, it's still an iffy investment, especially for those pump and dump type schemes. And those schemes, the ones I'm talking about, are the ones where everyone's talking about it, but nobody actually can tell you why you should invest in those. So that's sort of a problem. Now, Coinbase and Binance both down. People weren't even able to access those sites. Now, when all of these cryptocurrencies drop in price, we're starting to see a trend. Coinbase, which recently IPO'd, also drops off a cliff. Now, it wasn't just limited to the regular trader or the normal people that use cryptocurrencies for Coinbase. It actually also affected the pro side of their platform, which is a big issue, especially when you're seeing such wide ranges of fluctuation, because that's when a lot of the professional investors or professional traders make a lot of their money. Now let's move on to another topic, and it's one that we knew was coming. We've known it for a while, that the auto industry has been suffering. They're getting hit from both sides. From the demand side, everybody, it seems like, is buying a new car. I don't know how many people at my job have actually bought new cars and are ranting and raving over them. I'm like, okay, that's great. I'm going to keep driving my Camry. I love it. It's never going to die. Toyota for life. But they're buying all these new cars, and what's happening is you're seeing lots empty out. I mean, I drove past one Ford lot the other day where there was almost no vehicles. There was maybe 10, 15. It's because they can't fill up those stations. Ford is actually stopping production now of the F-150 and the Bronco Sport because they can't make enough. I mean, that is insane that they can't make enough vehicles to supply demand. I'm going to pull up a picture that was taken at a racetrack where there are all these vehicles, and people are like, why are there all these vehicles just sitting there? And here it is. Let me get this up if I can, and let's switch to this one. Here we go. This is crazy. This is in North Kentucky. And you see all these trucks just sitting there, and they're waiting for microchips. Now, 20 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you didn't need all these microchips in vehicles. It's a newer type thing, turn of the century, where all of a sudden all these vehicles, they started putting microchips in them. And it's great because it's giving us advanced features. But now they're stuck in a bottleneck with thousands of other electronic products that also need microchips. So you're starting to see trucks and other vehicles not being put out there to sell because they're missing the microchip, which controls the truck. So that's sort of an issue. All right, and lastly, and the last topic, and this has to do with housing, is that there is now a drop in mortgage applications, which isn't surprising, right? You saw a huge increase in mortgage applications. It was people that probably didn't have to buy a house, but they're like, you know what? The houses are selling. I got to get into one. And they started doing it. You know, they started looking for a house, but they've either found one now or they're so discouraged that they're no longer looking. And that supply of new people looking for a house has dropped off, which is why you're seeing mortgage applications drop. But there's another thing at play. Mortgage rates a few months ago, in fact, I had gotten a pre-approval in order to look for a house, which I ultimately decided, you know what, I'm done. I'm not looking for it. I'm going to sign my lease again, same price. I'm going to enjoy that life, not have to worry about anything. 2.75%. Well, now, just a month later in May, that 30-year fixed rate mortgage is now 3.15%. Last week, it was 3.11%. So that interest rate is climbing. And of course, when you have mortgage rates increasing, guess what happens, guys? Demand starts to go down. Now, 3.15% is nothing compared to 5 or 6% that a lot of folks are used to seeing, especially, you know, I'm a millennial, but our parents are used to, etc. So I would recommend, if you're planning on buying a house and you really want to in the next month or so, you should probably seriously consider getting pre-approved and really going out and starting to look, because this interest rate could increase quite a bit. Refinancing, this was interesting, has actually increased to 4%, by 4%. So that is great news. That means more people want to take advantage of low interest rates. And honestly, if you're planning on staying in your house for a few years, refinancing your house could save you a lot of money, guys. Please refinance if you can. Now, remember, I do this for fun, so everything I say is my opinion. It's based on what I read, what I understand. And look, cryptocurrencies, they are great. I believe that there is a place for them, but they're dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. Don't just invest in it because you saw that this random guy on TikTok or Instagram made $10,000 and they're so happy and they're broke. They're gloating over it. But you know what? A few months later, when it drops off a cliff, you don't want to be the broke person. You want to be the person that took profit. So if you have invested in this stuff, guys, and you see it steadily going down over the course of a few days, please take profits and understand some of these are not going to be around in a few years. I'll do another video on why I believe that right now we're in the beginning of the internet age. What happened with the internet bubble is going to happen with cryptocurrencies. You don't need 1,000 different cryptocurrencies. You need a handful that are really good at what they do. And I think we're going to see some of them in the next year or so disappear. And I think they're going to be some of the more popular names. Not Bitcoin or Ethereum. I think they're around for the long haul. But I could see some other ones like the dog coins start to disappear or at least significantly decrease in value. Anyhow, I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a great day. And remember, money is not hard. Please like and subscribe if you liked the video. Have a good one.